Coffee check. Lights, camera, action. I have my microphones set up. Top is figure 8, which is going into channel 2. And the bottom microphone is the cardioid. Next thing I'm gonna do before anything else is set up Pro Tools. So I'm in Pro Tools. The first thing I'm gonna do is go to Setup and go to I/O. Uh-oh. So I'm in my I/O and I'm going to import settings, Tara Audient, open, okie dokie. Then I'm going to create tracks. After naming my tracks, I'm going to come into the figure 8 and I'm going to put the trim plugin and switch that polarity. Then everything goes into record ready and we are ready to neutralize the board. Make sure all the faders come down and center all the pots. For the first 5 channels, obviously. Cool. We're gonna come up here, make sure mic line is up, and MTR is down, line is up, MTR is down. Just like that. We're gonna make sure there's no buttons down in the ACN. Bring up the pan button and make sure all the SF and pre's are down. You want to make sure the mix button is down in the short fader, and you don't want it down in the long fader because that's for mixing. Then you're gonna neutralize this thing over here by unplugging these bad boys. And last but not least, make sure that's up in the global section. Make sure the mix is down and you can center the pans. All looks good. We are going to set the ACNs. And give 48 volts. And we could even give line, oops, for the CD channels. And this is all before getting levels. We're gonna come down here and do the pots. After you put the 48 volts on, you're gonna come in here and make sure the top one is a figure 8. You're gonna make sure the bottom one is cardioid, and then volume. Oh, it's not even on. Well, turn the player on. We're gonna come over here and we're gonna patch CD left to Audient line in 4, and CD right goes into 5. Then make sure the player is on. Now getting levels. We're going to solo. Turn up the trim. And solo. And bring it into Pro Tools. Then you're going to solo in the short fader section. Check the levels here. And solo. Bring this in until it's at 0. So a little bit more. Perfect. Now we cut and move on to channel 2. When we're done getting levels for channel 2, we're gonna hit mono. And when we're done bringing in channel 3, we're gonna uncut and unmono. I soloed channel 4 and I wasn't getting a level because the CD player magically stopped. So, double check the CD player. We're gonna set up the headset mix. So we're gonna solo here. And we're gonna bring in some of channel 1. We're gonna bring in some of channel 4 and some of channel 5. Then come back here and solo. Once you have levels, you can hit record. Now, we're going to deselect record ready in Pro Tools. And we are going to loop play everything and neutralize the board for mixing. So we neutralize the compressor, the threshold is all the way to the left, and the gain is at 0. And all the cables are pulled out of here. The board is neutralized. And we're gonna go for some levels here. So I'm gonna solo. After you get your levels for mixing, you wanna push down the in buttons on channel 1 to do the EQ. So Jacob will tell you peaking, blah, 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 and you just do it. And then for compression, we want to hit the insert button, and we want to come over here to patch in the compressor. We're going to go from the Behringer in and take that to the insert send for channel 1. Behringer is going to come out into the return section for channel 1. Then you're ready to compress, play with the threshold, maybe put up the gain, maybe take down the gain. Next step, we want to unselect the mix button in channels 1, 2, and 3. Next step, press down 1 and 2 in channels 1, 2, and 3. Then to the subgroup 1, you're going to push down mix. pan left and right and bring these faders in. Done!